Officials.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Mayor.
I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, July 21st meeting of the Danville City Council. Madam Clerk, roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Mayor Ricky Williams Jr.,
Present.
Alderman Robert Williams, Aaron Trolia,
Present.
Sherry Pickering,
Here.
Mike O'Kane,
Here.
Bob Iverson,
Present.
Rick Streeving,
Here.
Mike Poor,
Present.
Steve Foster,
Present.
Karen McMahon, Brenda Brown,
Present.
RJ Davis, Dan Duncan,
Here.
James Pashard,
Present.
Tom Stone.
Here.
We have 11 present.
11 present. We do have a quorum. At this time, we will have...
Excuse me, before I give the invocation, Alderman Robert Williams just called me. He had trouble getting in, so he probably be joining us shortly.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Alderman Brown. At this time, we will have the invocation led by Alderman Brenda Brown.
Again, before we give the invocation, I'm going to ask for a few moments of silence in honor of one of our representatives for the United States. His name is John Lewis, who passed away, and on the same day, another civil rights icon, Reverend C.T. Vivian. So if we could just bow our head in a moment of silence, and then I will offer the invocation. Father of all power and all might, our Father which art in heaven, we thank you for this wonderful day you have provided for us. We thank you for your love, your grace, and your mercy. We thank you for these civil rights icons that have passed on, that they worked hard. They did their work. They labored. Now they've gone to reward. We just ask, Lord, that you bless their families and the work that they started. May we continue. We ask that you bless the mayor and the city council members of the city of Danville. Lord, we ask for your wisdom and discernment that we may guide and direct the citizens of this city of Danville in the way they expect us to, and the right way, and the way that is best for all that's concerned, and with fairness and justice. We pray and ask that each one of us stay healthy, that we stay well, that we may be able to serve in a healthy manner in this community. We ask that you bless all the staff, administration, our public servants, our police and fire department, and just help us be the city that you want us to be, and that you get the glory in all that we say and do. We thank you for these and all other blessings. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
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 Amen. At this time, I will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
The United States of America.
to the republic for which it stands,
Republic, which it stands,
one nation, under
nation,
one
God,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Justice for all.
with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Alderman Brown, for that prayer. And yes, we do honor both Congressman Lewis as well as Reverend Vivian. They were giants, two of the big six, and we've lost the last of them. So we just thank them. Without them, quite frankly, we all wouldn't have an opportunity to serve together today, and I wouldn't have an opportunity to be your mayor. So I just appreciate the sacrifices that they made to put us where we are. At this time, you have the minutes from the July 7th meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
Dungeon, so moved.
Stone, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. We do have the minutes. You also have before you the agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve that?
Pickering, so moved.
Been moved by Alderman Pickering, seconded by Chairman Poor. Any discussion or debate? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. All right, thank you. The motion carries. Now it's time for my report. I do not have any proclamations this evening. However, we do have one appointment. We will be reappointing Lisa Monson to the Fire Pension Board of Trustees with a term to expire April of 2024. Is there a motion to concur with that appointment?
I concur.
Alderman Streaming, second.
All righty, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you. At this time, are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions? Seeing none, items of information. Unfortunately, since we are not able to have the meeting in person, we are not going to have the presentation of the Crime Stoppers donation at this time. However, I did speak with Mr. Hoskins, Frank Hoskins, former alderman, who is on their board, and we are going to go ahead and mail that check to them because they could really use it to help with some of the awards that they have that are pending. And then we'll do a presentation of a certificate when we're able to meet together again. Other items of information, I just want to say thank you to all of our teams for all the good work that they continue to do. I'd like to give a special shout out again to the folks at the pool. I can't tell you how many comments and compliments and thanks that I've had from the community because, again, it's one of the only activities outside of the skate land and a few others that people can do right now. So thank you for supporting us and keeping that open. Just as a reminder to the public, we do have special hourly cleaning protocols. They are cleaning all of the every time when they make individuals get out of the pool, they clean all of the chairs. There's a special cleaning of the locker room and the restrooms and such. So we are doing everything that we can to ensure that we are as safe as possible. At this time, we do not have any petitions, communications, or audience comments. We also do not have any zoning petitions before you this evening. However, we do have the payrolls for June 26th, July 10th, and July 17th of this year. Is there a motion to approve those?
Okay, yes. Second, Troy.
Pickering, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
Alderman Duncan.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking at what's labeled number 9 in the upper right-hand corner. Total payroll seems to run about roughly 10% in overtime. And the fire department, though, seems to have over 20% in overtime. Are the new firefighters hired going to alleviate any of this, or did they just have a bad 2-week period? Or I haven't been following the numbers as closely as I should. Has this been standard this year, or is this 20% this payroll period higher than it should be, or is it average?
It's a little bit higher than normal. We had to do callbacks for the fireworks for the 4th of July. And then seems like we've had a couple of fires too that were a little bit larger where we've had to call folks back. So I would say, no, this is not standard.
Okay, I did see it was a rather high number for recall, Manning. Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then the other thing too is that we have had a couple of firefighters that retired unexpectedly, and that's also triggered some higher backs as well. So.
Gotcha. Yes.
All right. Thank you. And any other questions on the payroll? Madam Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Williams, Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Abstain.
Pochard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
10 yes.
10 yes, the motion carries. You also have before you the item 10, the approval of the vouchers payable. You have before you the payables from July 14th and July 21st. Is there a motion to approve those?
Alderman
Dungeon,
Streebe.
so moved.
Second.
Been moved by Alderman Streebing, moved by Alderman Dungeon and seconded by Vice Chair Streebing. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Pochard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams, 11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries. You have before you, since we're back on teleconferencing, I will be doing the committee reports for you again. We have before you item 11A, resolution approving the professional services agreement for sanitary sewer flow monitoring and sanitary sewer system evaluation. I'd ask that we dispense with a motion to dispense with the reading and for its approval.
Chairman Paul.
It was moved by Chairman Floor, and was that a second by Alderman Stone?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Orr,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Pochard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams, Trolia,
Yes.
11 yes, the motion carries. Item 11B is a resolution rejecting bid number 655 for 2020 pavement striping. I would ask for a motion to dispense with the reading and for its approval.
Alderman Streebing make the motion.
Bouchard,
Pickering, second.
Right, it's been moved and seconded. Just so you'll know, the bid came in substantially higher than what we have allocated for this year. So they are going back to the drawing board to see how we can accomplish this. So that's why we have made a motion to reject it. Any discussion or debate?
Chairman Fuller,
Yes, sir.
you may have the city engineer explain what this costs, if it continues, what we could actually do with that money on these roads.
Sure. Engineer Cole, can you please?
Yes. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So essentially the pricing came back at about 3 times what we had estimated. The cost to, let me take this off speakerphone real quick. That's probably a little better for everybody. The cost to put down the striping costs essentially the same amount as putting down pavement over the same surface area. So at those numbers, we can't afford to stripe that much. So we're going to regroup, find a more cost-effective way to proceed. And we certainly would rather see the money go into pavement rather than stripes if the stripes are going to cost that much. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Chairman. Any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. Cole, it's Aaron.
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Alderman Trillia.
Have we had this, have we striped before? I mean, was this not a normal, have we striped before we would already know this price or not?
Yeah, so
normally,
we have, you can go ahead, Ricky.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Sam.
Normally, years ago, the city used to do the majority of the striping in-house for reasons I don't fully know. I'm not suggesting that we go back to doing 100% of the striping in town. We do have the ability to do some handwork, which we're going to look into doing this, and whether it's cost effective for us to do this in-house versus outsourced. Normally those projects are just part of, striping goes down when the road's rebuilt. This was primarily on concrete pavement, primarily along roads that tie into Main Street and East Main Street. So that striping just does not last very long and has obviously proven to be pretty expensive. So we're not sure exactly how we'll proceed, but we're going to try to figure out a better solution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Alderman Trillia. Any further questions? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Strabing,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Duncan,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams, Trillia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes. Alderman Williams, are you with us currently? Alderman Williams, are you with us? Okay, 11 yes, the motion carries. You have before you also item 11C, a resolution awarding the contract for bid number 656 for the 2020 Seal Coat Program. I would ask for a motion to dispense with the reading and for its approval.
Trillia.
So moved.
First.
Moved by Alderman Trillia and seconded by Alderman Pickering. Any discussion or debate?
Is this Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Is this a seal coat with a rock chat over the top of it? Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Do you have a
And I
question,
noticed-
Alderman Bouchard?
I was just asking about the seal coat is with the oil with the white rock chat over the top. Is that what we're talking about on that?
Yes, I do believe so.
Okay.
Sam,
Yeah, I can clarify. It's not. We're not going to be using the crushed white rock or limestone. We will be using it's a crushed and washed river rock, which we believe holds up better to traffic and has less dust. It will also be a different rock than what you saw last year that we experienced numerous problems with as well. So,
And all these streets on the paper here, all these streets are the ones that's going to be getting the seal coat?
That's correct. There is one that we have pulled off, elected to pull off, which is right out in your neighborhood. It's Hillside Drive. And the reason is there's a little bit more repair work to do to that one than what we were comfortable with seal coating over at this point. So that's something we'll hope to knock out, and it may be on next year's program. So, but
Okay.
yeah, all the list, and it's approximately, we've got a goal of seal coating 20% of our oil and chip roads each year because the surface has about a 5-year life. This is a little bit less than that, but this is pretty close to what we're going to try to shoot for as an annual program. So.
Okay. Great. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, this is Chairman, when do we expect to start this program?
So the contractor can start as early as August 1st and has till the end of August to complete it. We couldn't tell you an exact date yet, but we do expect that won't be a problem. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Sam, could you explain a comment that you made that I think is really important about prioritization and why we may not be doing some roads that are worse off than maybe some that are on here?
Yes. So what people may notice this year, and we've had some calls about this, and understandably so. People, they notice that we're fixing roads that are in better shape to begin with than theirs, and we are doing that consciously, not because we dislike those people or think they deserve a poor road. We are taking a strategy in which we focus on doing preservation techniques on roads that we are able to save, so that we have adequate funds to completely reconstruct or rebuild roads that we can't save. So this is really the first piece in our preservation process, and that's going to evolve over a couple of years. So we simply ask that people bear with us, and our hope is to fit more projects into the reconstruction category so that we're able to get those to a condition that we wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So.
Great, thanks, Sam. Any further questions on item C? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Iverson,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes, Williams is here now.
Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. Item 11D is an ordinance vacating an east-west alleyway near 216 South Gilbert Street and a portion of public square for petitioner K2 Enterprise LLC. I would ask for a motion to dispense the reading and for its approval.
Chairman Poole, yes.
Trolley, a second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate on item D?
I'm Alderman Duncan. I mean, I'm good at math. I just can't figure out where this is. Can somebody tell me, please?
Sure. Sam, could you address that issue?
Yeah, I sure can. Do you know where the Quick Lube South is? On South Gilbert Street down there. So it is basically just north of that. There's an alley that runs east-west there, and there's a portion of an old town square that's kind of, it literally looks like it's part of the lot already, but it's technically right away.
So just south of the Aldi's.
North of the Aldi's. It's north of Aldi's. So kind of catty corner from Arby's down there.
Okay.
And just on the south side of where the Danville sign is, basically, across the road from that.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Streebing,
No.
Ford,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
11 yes.
11 yes, the motion carries. Item 11E is an ordinance approving acceptance of right-of-way and easements for the Gilbert Street and Madison Street intersection improvements. Is there I'd ask for a motion to dispense with the reading and for its approval.
Alderman Streben will make the motion.
Bouchard, a second.
Been moved by Alderman Streben, seconded by Alderman Bouchard. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Poor,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Shard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Prolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Reading,
Yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. Item 11F is an ordinance accepting real property at 513 West Madison Street. I would ask for a motion to dispense with the reading and for its approval.
Chairman Ford, so moves.
Alderman Streben, second.
It's been moved and seconded. Just so you'll know, we are still waiting on the final title work to make sure everything that is clear. We will not purchase the property until we have the final clear paperwork. The preliminary review indicates that there's nothing owed. However, we're waiting for the final distribution. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote.
Alderman Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Reading,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. Item 11G is an ordinance amending Chapter 77, Schedule 15A for stop or yield signs. I'd entertain a motion. I would ask to dispense with the reading and entertain a motion for its approval.
Stone, so moved.
Pickering,
Trolia,
second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Reading,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. Item 11H is an ordinance approving the purchase of real property at 513 Harmon Street for the William Street Realignment Project. I would ask for a motion to dispense with the reading and for its approval.
Alderman Streben will make the motion to accept.
Stone, second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Payne,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Reading,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, 12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. Item 11I is an ordinance approving real estate option agreement for the sale of certain real property at 821 North Vermillion Street. I would entertain a motion to dispense with the reading and for its approval.
Chairman Ford, so moves.
Stone, second.
It has been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate?
Chairman Ford,
Yes, sir.
Mayor, the property to the east and to the south of that's all open as well. Do we own that?
So we own the 2 lots to the south, Chairman Poor, but we do not own to the east. To the east is owned by Mr. Carlton, I believe Mr. Dean Carlton, where Critters is located. And then the other 2 lots are empty, and we are working with the owner of that to possibly secure something as well.
That'd be a nice corner.
Yes. Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Davis, Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. You have before you item 11J, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of real property. Is there a motion to approve? I would ask for the dispensation of the reading and for a motion to approve.
Alderman Streaming will make the motion.
It's been moved by Alderman Streebing and seconded by Vice Mayor Iverson. Is that correct? It wasn't you? I'm sorry, who made the second?
I will second it.
Alderman O'Kane, was that you? I apologize.
Yes.
Okay. Even though I haven't seen y'all very much lately, I can still tell your voices, thankfully, for the most part.
Alderman O'Kane and I look so much alike.
Is there any discussion or debate?
Mayor,
Alderman O'Kane.
Yes, Alderman O'Kane.
There are some properties on this that I hopefully in the near future will be gone as far as the looks and the problems that have caused in the past. And I'm thankful that we're getting rid of them, or hopefully purchasing to get rid of them, the structures on them.
Yes, that is the goal, Alderman O'Kane. As we all know, unfortunately, it never happens as quickly as any of us would like, but
No.
that is the goal.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any other discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Dungeon,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
Stone,
Yes.
Williams,
yes.
Trolia,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
McMahon, Brown,
Yes.
Davis, 12 yes.
12 yes, the motion carries. At this time, are there any items of information on the Public Works report or any questions for Director Carpenter or his team?
This is Alderman Iverson.
Yes, sir.
I meant to bring this up at 11G. I'm sorry. I kind of got caught up in the flow of the meeting. The stop signs at Country Club and Danville Drive, there's 2 of them now. We're going to do both the north and the south entrance intersection. So there have been some people in the neighborhood who have been opposed to the idea, and I just wanted to have the city have a chance to say what it was that they thought these 2 intersections needed.
I believe that we had, while some people were opposed, I believe we did have some people who had expressed concerns. I would ask either Director Carpenter or Engineer Cole to speak to that for me.
This is Director Carpenter. We actually had input from Chief Yates as well. and he expressed some concern about the dangers at that intersection. The north intersection had absolutely no signage on it at all, which put a lot of liability on the city of Danville had there been an accident there, especially if it would have been a bad accident and unfortunately someone was to lose their life. All intersections have to have some sort of signage. This isn't a figure eight crash up derby, so that whole area, that's pretty much what it seemed to be. So, and the other end, the south end where we actually installed the signs, that's been a yield sign forever. And if you actually drive that, most people don't even yield. They just race to the intersection to try to beat the other person coming the other direction. So the stop signs will serve the purpose they're there for.
Okay, I sort of agree with the decision for you to do that. I just kind of wanted there to be a little more public comment when people say, why did you do that? We had a good reason.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Vice Mayor. Thanks, Director.
Yeah, Chairman Foster.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got a number of phone calls and emails on that. And the people that I talked to about it, only one person had an objection to the stop sign. Everybody were indifferent or thought there wasn't that bad of an idea. But they are concerned as well, and I've already talked to Carl about it. The stumps are still there when they tore down those trees initially a couple of years ago, and I hope we'll be able to get them out. And there are some problems with the people have no longer cut the weeds on the other side of their fence. I guess they're not really obligated anyway. But Carl will try and keep that down, but our equipment won't go up to the fence, I don't think. I think it's probably just a few feet in from the road that we can cut. I think after the stumps are gone, though, I will be able to probably do something, and that depends on when we get the approval finally from the state to go ahead on the whole project before we can start on it. And of course, a lot of questions came about down there by the Gale Grotto too, but we're going to be working on that. And since I'm not even going to ask anybody, unless you heard something to counterwise, we've never got an approval yet on that for us to go ahead on that project. But that's the number one concern out there in the area. I think most people are happy with what we're trying to do with the streets.
Thank you, Chairman. We will be, I believe, this fall starting the Stewart portion of the project, and then probably next year, not probably, almost certainly, unless things go wrong, and Lord is willing, we will start working on the road portion as well. So, any other questions or comments for Director Carpenter and his team?
Yeah, this is Aaron. I did actually have one. And I should have asked this, kind of was like Iverson. I got kind of caught up real quick. 11I, does the bank just need to be demoed? There's no salvage in that building? I find it odd that they're just selling us to it for $1. It's the bank building that got ran into, right?
Yes, that is correct. As you'll know, they never fully made the repairs to it, and I think they were probably kind of struggling at that location anyway. So to them, I think that they will just be glad to have it gone.
Well, I hope they will participate, though, in the cost of that, because obviously they collect the insurance money on it, even though it wasn't completely done. And I can understand, if you total your car, a lot of people take the total money rather than the car, if you know what I mean. So is there going to be any cost to us on the tearing down, or do they understand? Or I realize we're going to buy it for $1, but that could be rather expensive. I don't know. It looked like it's an opportunity for a reason to close it. My personal.
Well, it's right. Director Carpenter again. The bank actually decided not to rebuild there because there is not enough business. It's cost prohibitive to rebuild that building completely. We are doing a brownfield study on that because, as you know, when we tore down the old dry cleaner just to the south of that, that's contaminated land. So that brownfield grant money will take care of all that. We only have the option to buy it. That's all you've approved. If it's going to be cost prohibitive to do anything with that lot, then we will not purchase it. And then the bank would be responsible for everything. If we do purchase it for the dollar, yes, we will tear the building down and in all likelihood leave the pavement there in the interim until that lot is sold to a developer. That is the plans in a nutshell at this time.
Yeah. I hope it's not polluted because it can sure screw things up for everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks, Alderman. Thank you, Chairman. Thanks, Carl. Any further questions for Director Carpenter? Items of information for the good of the cause on this. I will keep you posted as to whether or not we will have a committee meeting next week. I will need to talk with Chairman Poore and Chairman Foster about this. It also depends on when we get back the test result of the exposed employee, which we hopefully should tomorrow. So, and I'll talk to you some more about this a little bit under items of information to talk about everyone's pleasure. So, at this time, the Public Services Committee report. Are there any questions for anyone that falls under our public services any questions for any of our divisions that fall under public services?
Chairman Duncan?
Yes, sir.
For the back to my earlier question on overtime for the fire department, one of the reasons you had stated was some retirements. Do we have a list of potential hires? When would the ETA on that be if we do?
We do have people hired. They go to academy in September, I believe. Yes, it's the beginning of September. So we will be able to start having folks in there soon. We should have folks on board by the end of the year, but I don't think we'll also need again, some of the overtime was for fires and also for the 4th of July. We had a shift back too. So,
but the personnel shortage is being addressed. That's good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions under public services? Items of information for the good of the cause. And after you all have yours, then I have one item for you.
Of course, I have one.
Yes, Chairman.
Yeah, I guess, do you guys get feedback? Because I have to have my speaker on to really hear this thing. I can turn it off, but I got to talk for a couple of minutes. Is that all right? Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I shall proceed then, based on your encouragement. Twice in the past. Okay. Twice in the past, when Eisenhower was mayor, we visited and discussed, and I think with some interest, the possibility that we should consider providing each alderman with his own laptop computer. The city would buy them. They can get very good buys when you buy them in bulk. In fact, there's a lot less now than it was then. We were very close to going ahead on it. We never actually voted on it publicly, but we discussed it in meetings twice. I remember that. The thing was that, you recall last fall, I suggested that we maybe look into being able to make these calls, unfortunately, not knowing about the virus, but that we make calls like this so where an alderman can't make it to a meeting, we can call in to get votes, because there have been times when one vote was critical and maybe things really happened that we didn't want to happen, but it was just we didn't have the right number, zoning issues. I don't want to go into that, but the point is, it's quite evidentiary that this has been, I don't want to say a godsend because it's a bad word to say it that way, but this whole situation here with the virus and everything, and we don't know what's going to come in the future with new viruses, or God forbid, it could be a COVID-20 next year. But what we need to do is to make sure that every alderman has the same setup on his computer so that we can get through a lot easier than we have been, and that can be done on even these meetings. and that we have this in place on a more permanent basis. Secondly, is a lot of us that just recently had to email upgrade, they don't work too well on our systems because a lot of us have different systems. Some of us have Windows 7, some of us have 10, I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is I think it'd be better. I've discussed it with the mayor. I've discussed it with IT people at Agno. And what we need to consider and really get done is that the city needs to get computers. They set them up. We have a training class. We'll make it as easy as possible to get online and offline on these meetings. They can train us 3 at a time. I volunteer to go out to anybody's house if they have trouble, and I help them get online. But first thing, I need to be taught first. You got to be an egoist before you can be an altruist. But I'll go out and help anybody I can. But here's the thing. This may not go away, but we have to be prepared, and we were prepared because we started on this. The counselor did. We looked at the laws. We got a head start on a lot of cities around here, and I don't want to be behind anymore on anything. Every alderman should have his own computer. It can belong to the city. They can set it up like they want. The city has software. They can access it to fix it while you're on the phone. There's all kinds of advantages to it, and it's not anybody that can get it. It's your computer as well. Put your personal stuff on there at the end of the term or at the end of your when you leave office. Eisenhower suggested just give it to but we can buy it for a small fee. Frankly, a used computer is not worth much. But the thing is, anybody wants to keep it, even if they decide not to run again. Of course, I say every year I'm not going to, but then I change my mind. But normally I would say that this is a wise thing to do. If you want to keep it after you leave, fine. Whatever you guys agree is on a fair price. At any rate, it's not so much that, but the cost to us individually for all of us continues to upgrade, even things to open an email. Now it'll be set up where everybody's on the same page. Everybody has the same equipment. The city sets up all the computers. You're all going to be have a little briefer on no matter what the city ends up, but they're going to buy the latest thing, the latest system. You know what I mean? The latest Windows version. And there's a lot of advantages. I've asked the mayor, with your general consent, I'd like to put it up for discussion. And if at my meeting next week, whether on the phone or in person, I don't think we can let this go any longer. It should have been done probably a year or so ago. I think, Mike, you did experiment. Poor got one. I don't know if he bought it himself, but it worked out pretty good. But he was the only author that was able to get online. You know what I mean?
It was a little, wasn't really a tablet. It was just a small laptop, about an 8-inch.
Right, but even with that,
it did work. It did work.
He's able to open up and look at the agenda. Look how much paper we waste. But that's another story. Anyway. I don't know if any input, but I'm suggesting that we take action and we look at what it's going to cost us. And also, I suggest the city buy more than 14 of them, because with people having to go home and work from home, we don't know what kind of equipment employees have that are critical employees that they can work from their house. The city should have computers set up for them. They can bring it back when they're done with it. I guess you know where I'm going on this. And Barry, I just wonder, what's your opinion about it? And I'd like to hear from Agno too on this, and of course any other alderman. And I hate to take more of your time, but I'm glad you gave me this time, because I think it's very important that we address these issues. Thank you.
Thanks, Chairman. That's definitely something that you and I discussed, and I know you've discussed it with Agno as well. I know that that's something that we're looking into. And we can definitely give you a report by the end of the month to let you know kind of what we're looking at cost-wise. And then if it be the pleasure of the council, we could bring them forward. We'll figure out what line item it would come from, and we could bring that for a vote at the appropriate time, if that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I was just hoping at least you get the discussion in public services, at the next meeting. Because every month that goes by, we get further and further away with maybe having some serious problems. I don't know if anybody else that had any problem, but the new email doesn't work exactly right. And I'm going to get help on that because Agno and I we're going to set up some software where he can open up my computer from his office, and we're going to fix that online. That's not a problem to work it out. But that's exactly what the future would be on the new computers. It's exactly what he can do to help if you got any problems. So thank you, Mayor, though, for looking into it. I just wondered if anybody has any comments on it or questions. Yeah. Agnell's there, isn't he?
Yeah, yes, he is. He's going to come down towards this end, so to make sure you can hear him.
Yes, Chairman. Certainly, we'll look into this and get some specs put together as well as get some pricing, and then I'll get back with you as soon as I have that ready.
Yeah, this is Chairman Poor.
Yes, Chairman.
I'm actually have my laptop on right now. I've pulled up the agenda and everything else so I can, blow it up and read it right on my computer as we were going through. And I do that quite often when we're doing a Zoom meeting. It's just a lot simpler. And any of the emails, you'll automatically have the updates to anything that's changed on the agenda. And, I kind of agree. It's the amount of paper we waste is, it's a thing in the future. Then we could actually, if we did a real Zoom to where we could actually have a visual of each person as well while we're conducting the meeting.
Right, Mike, that can be done. They can set it up.
Right. Because I do that with some other groups I'm involved with. We do.
And guess what? I'm set up with other groups. Now, I'm set up with other groups. I don't put even a password in because it's pre-done. When you're ready to go, you turn on your computer and you're online on Zoom.
Right. And then I will say,
Trouble Williams and the rest of us have had.
Yeah, I will say one thing. And Agnell told me about the link for the email down at you go on the city's homepage, and down at the bottom it says employee emails. You click on that, it takes you right to Outlook and your emails. So that's a step that's pretty simple. You just log in your email and password and you're there.
Very good. So Chairman Foster, Chairman Poor, Council, what I'll do is, as Agnell said, we'll put together some specs and look into some pricing. And as soon as we have that, I'll make sure that we share that with you all. And if it's pertinent and appropriate, then we'll put that up for a vote so we can get working on it.
Okay. Mayor, Alderman O'Kane?
Yes, sir.
I would suggest that you might do a little survey with the aldermen and whoever else might be involved. Make sure they have adequate Wi-Fi and knowledge to do some of this stuff. I mean, I don't have a problem, but I figure that some people may have a problem with the Wi-Fi or even the knowledge how to run a computer to something like this. But it doesn't hurt to ask them privately.
Absolutely. So in preparation for these meetings, Agnell did do a preliminary survey. I don't think we heard quite back from everyone, so just be aware we may be following you up with you yet again to see what your capacity is so that we can see what your systems can handle. That way we can all be, if we move forward with this, we can all be on the same page as much as possible. So great recommendation, Alderman O'Kane. Any other items for the good of the cause?
This is Alderman Brown.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We talked about this COVID-19 and how it has stifled a lot of our normal activity. This week, I spoke with the mayor regarding the requirement of masks. And even though some of the stores and businesses require to have them on as you enter, it's been brought to my attention more than once, and for the last few months. How does our mayor feel about the wearing of masks? And is the mayor going to make a statement to the community, because there have been other surrounding areas and communities that their mayor or administrators have come out and made a statement and asked their communities to please wear their mask. and is required is for our own safety, is for the health of one another, or something to that effect. And they haven't had that from the city of Danville. And they asked, what do the aldermen think? Some of them have asked me that. So we've never had a discussion on it. But I did speak to the mayor on this, and I understand about trying to enforce it. He mentioned to me about it's hard to enforce, and I understand that, and I wouldn't expect the police officers to go around with a billy club, threatening people if they don't have the mask on. I certainly understand. We don't have time to do all that, but I think it would be a good idea if our mayor would to make a statement just for the safety and the health of all. I don't know how the other aldermen feel, but I don't think it would hurt anything if we would hear from our mayor, because even though people are going to do what they want to do, they're going to wear it or they're not going to wear it. But there are people in this community that would like to hear from our mayor. And I just think it would be a good thing, Mayor Williams, like I said, not to try to knock you or go against what you believe or what you think, but I just wanted to bring it up again tonight. It actually has bothered me that when people mention this, that we lead by example, and that's why I know you're a very intelligent person, and that you would put it in a way that our citizens would understand. And like you said yesterday, some going to cooperate and some are not going to. But it certainly would be, I think, a good idea to hear from our leader. You're a leader for all the people in this community. So I just don't know what the other aldermen think, if our mayor should or should not, or if the council should have any input on this or not. Like I said, I even mentioned a while back when this first started, and I do commend the mayor and the county board even for keeping our numbers down. Our numbers are down compared to other communities as well. So that's a plus for us. I think that, but I think to hear from our mayor would be a great thing, because we don't know how long this is going to last. We have even talking with school board members. I think they're having a special meeting tonight trying to get this thing going with the schools, because a lot of parents aren't sending their kids, and a lot of teachers are not going to return because of this. And that is brought up from one of the school board members. What does our mayor think? He's not actually a school board member. This was one of the, someone from administration. I'll put it like that. Anyway, that's why I'm thinking, when I hear this more than once, I think, well, maybe for just to say something to the people, just for our health and safety, I think that could maybe help encourage people to wear their mask, and it may help the situation with the school district and other institutions.
Right.
This is Chairman Ford. Isn't the governor, doesn't he have an order out that masks are mandatory when you can't social distance?
Yes, he does.
I believe I'm not sure about the order, how it's stated or anything, but even though he has said this, if you listen to the news, some people don't want to listen to the news, but other areas, we've heard, at least I've listened to mayors from Peoria, from Urbana, from Champaign, from Chicago, from even in Missouri down. I mean, the mayors are just offering something as the leader of their communities. I know our governor has, but I'm still asking about our mayor.
Yeah.
So the governor wouldn't sue us.
Alderman Brown, I agree with Alderman Brown that, if we can get some sort of statement out of the mayor, it would help to eliminate a lot of the problems. And, people don't feel like they need to wear them. And it's a proven fact that if they wear the mask, it will prevent a lot of the infections that's being spread.
I'd like to comment on that, but this is Foster. Is that all right?
Go ahead, Chairman Foster.
I don't want to step on anybody else, but my thinking is the president wisely left this state by state up to the governors. It may not be good as it turns out, but that's what he did. And most governors, I think, have left it up to except for Illinois, have left it up to the mayors of each city But really, when you start taking those positions, I'll tell you right now, I'm for this and against that. You're going to make somebody mad and somebody happy. And personally, if I were a mayor, I wouldn't stick my nose in that for nothing. And I'll tell you why. The stores around here have wisely decided which ones you can shop in and which ones you shop in. You know, and people are madder than hell down at Walmart's, says they'll never come back again because Walmart's asked you to wear a mask. I went into Walmart's this afternoon. I didn't want to. I had to. I had some problems with my phone, and I can tell you that it's not easy to wear these masks, you know, for any length of time. And I know it's not easy, and the people don't like it. But I don't think they don't want to wear a mask for discomfort. I think it's more of an attitude. So, in my mind, if it comes out either way, you know, that gives us a store says, well, even the mayor's not for this, so we're not going to do it, and the next store does do it. I think we should leave it up to the stores, just like the president left it up to the governors. And in most states, the governors left it up to the cities. In this state, that isn't the case. If the governor wants to mandate it, fine, let him do it, you know. But I'm going to tell you what, there is no end to this. There's no end to it. And then you'll be called on to make statements for everything else, and every alderman will be. And all you're doing is you're joining the thing that a lot of people love, and that is called division. Anything that can be done to create division, and that's what's killing this country, and it's killing our economy.
I like,
you know, and there are people that rather have a division.
I disagree with you, Alderman. It's a matter
well,
of
I'm
health.
glad you do, but you know, that's your problem.
Well, you know what, Alderman Foster, while I disagree with you, at the same time, we put leaders in a position just to hear from, not that, and I think I quoted this, not that we want to be beat over the head to do this. We just ask to simply make a statement, because it appears as if, as a person said to me at the park last week, as if the mayor doesn't care about the safety of the community. And I told him, I said, no, that's not true. But the idea that you said, Alderman Foster, you said that you wouldn't take that as the mayor. I don't mean that the mayor has to go out and debate with people about it. I did not ask that. I said to make a statement, and I don't think it's that difficult to make one. Now, the mayor says he's not going to do it anyway, so that's fine and well. I wanted to hear from what the other alderman thought, and that's fine. So if it's not done, it's not done. I just thought, as an alderman, I've been hearing this for months, and I came to my mayor. Now I'm coming to the alderman, and you know, and if it's not done, it's not done. I can only say what I think.
Fine. You just hold that position. That's fine, and it's going to go way, way beyond the virus. You watch.
And besides this, I'm not interested. Listen to me, Alderman Foster. I know the stores are going to make their statements to require you to do this and that and whatever. Yes, the people, you're never going to satisfy everybody. I understand that. But any time, you know, you're in leadership, I think Mayor Williams understands that as well. But we come out and make statements on other things. There's other things that our leader has had to come out and make statements of. What about the health and the safety of our people, just simply to ask them to wear a mask? I don't think that's a big deal. But if people,
Alderman, if I may, since I was asked and specifically addressed, I would like to take a moment to address the issue. First of all, I would say whoever has said that I haven't addressed this issue of public safety with COVID-19 clearly haven't read any of the statements that I've made in the paper or that I've made on my many Facebook posts, where I have encouraged people to follow CDC guidelines and to follow the guidelines that are put out by the Illinois Department of Public Health. So to say that I've not said anything on the subject is just not true. They may not have heard it, they may not have seen it, but to say that I've said nothing is just completely inaccurate. What I will say is this: first of all, I'm never going to be pressured publicly or any other way into making any kind of statement one way or the other unless it's something that I agree with. I want to make that clear. to everyone of all persuasions, including the aldermen. I respect you all a great deal, and I respect your positions and opinions. I also have my own. And again, I have made many statements about safety. What I will say is this. I was the person who said that after June 26th, when we got into the fourth phase, that I was not going to wear a mask indoors. I just wasn't going to. I was tired of it. I was frustrated. It was hard. It was hot. But guess what? Unless I'm eating indoors, unless I'm dining indoors, I wear my mask when I'm out in any kind of public facility. I even go so far as to wear my mask until I get to the car, lest someone say, oh, look, there's the mayor. He's not even trying to keep people safe. He doesn't care. So I was a person that said I wasn't going to, however, I do. I can tell you I will not be wearing a mask outside ever. That's just not going to happen. If we're outdoors, I'm not wearing a mask, nor would I expect other people to. I think that that's counterintuitive. However, indoors, I do wear a mask, and I think if people can medically do so, they should do so, but I'm not going to be forced into making any kind of statement one way or another. I have said my piece about keeping people safe, and I've done everything that we can to make sure that we keep people safe. And I've not only said it, I think a lot of times people say a whole bunch of stuff just to get hoop and hollering and try to make pressure and stuff. I think what you actually do, you know, we got to the second round of the state playoffs my senior year of football at Danville High School. And what happened is we lost to the people who became the state champions. And we had a mission that year. We had a statement. And it was actions speak louder than words. And it's interesting because my junior team was better. We were better in almost every way physically than we were my senior year, but we didn't have that continuity. We didn't have that motto of actions speak louder than words. And so what I will say is my actions show that I care very much about the city of Danville. I encourage people to wear masks. If they don't, that's their choice and that's their right.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, all the other aldermen that had comments.
Thank you, Brenda, for bringing that up. Thank you.
Any other comments?
One last comment, Mayor, has nothing to do with our little differences here.
Yes, Chairman.
The chief of police's father died, and no one's mentioned it, but he's very close to him. And they've gone through an awful situation. I think he died Thursday, you know, our chiefs. So I think, Alderman Brown, I almost asked you to add him to your prayer list for a moment of silence, you know, because it's very difficult in the family. They brought him home from Terre Haute, but he was going down there, and it was a real stress on everybody. And his father wasn't that old. I don't think he was maybe 76, 77. I don't know. What do you know about it, Mayor? If it's
that you've described it relatively accurately, and I would just ask that we do keep Chief Yates and his entire family in their prayers at this time, during this time of grief. Absolutely. Thank you for the reminder.
Yeah, had I known that, excuse me, I'm sorry. Had I known that, Alderman Foster, I would have included that. And
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Heartfelt sympathy to their family.
You do a good job. You can't remember everything.
Thank you, everyone. I do have one last item that I wish to discuss with you briefly. When we made call, once we knew that we had a possible exposure here, myself and our deputy clerk, Megan Mudd, and my executive assistant, Teresa Brazelton, we all made calls to the aldermen. We weren't able to talk to everyone. In talking to a number of you, many expressed the position that you would prefer, even though you don't like meeting via teleconference, that given that we have had kind of a spike in Vermilion County of COVID-19 and coronavirus cases, that you would prefer that we continue to meet like this for a while. So my question to you, just briefly, I'm just going to do a quick straw poll and ask if you prefer to meet in person, to try to resume meeting in person, or if you would prefer, at least for a short while now, until maybe things even out again, that we meet via teleconference. Yes, Alderman Williams.
Yes, excuse me. I happened to get my commercial news, which they deliver it in the mail, and I normally get it on a Tuesday afternoon, late in the afternoon. And I wasn't aware the meeting was being switched Then once I tried to get on, they've changed the codes and the call in and all that information. And it would be good if we're going to make those decisions as to switches, to notify the aldermen by phone or something to let them know what's going on. That's the only thing I said. It took me about a half an hour before I could get in. Thank you.
Yes, Alderman, we did email and we did call. Every alderman was called either, again, by myself, by our deputy clerk, or my assistant, Teresa. Every alderman was called. And those we weren't able to speak with, we left messages wherever we could. So we did call everyone.
Oh, well, I didn't get the call. I'm sorry, but and then the codes were changed, so I ended up talked with Alderman Brown, and she gave me some information. The computer guy finally called me back and gave me the information where I could get in. But I appreciate that. That's just a thought. Make sure that we are contacted so we can be aware of the meetings. Thank you.
You're welcome. You may not have received it, but you were contacted. Any?
Yeah, and I got an email today or yesterday also telling me the new codes.
Yes.
Alderman Duncan?
Yes, sir.
I would be much in favor of the teleconferencing until the pandemic is definitely over.
Alderman Strabing, I also agree, teleconference till it's over.
Chairman Poor, I agree. A teleconference, this thing's not going to be over anytime soon, and I think it's only going to get worse.
Okay, why don't we do this? I'm going to have our clerk call on you on the remainder of the folks, and if you would prefer to teleconference, please say teleconference. If you would prefer to meet in person, please state in person.
Yeah, but before you do it, Mayor, I want to say about it. I would like to do it when the mask rule's gone, because I came home sick for the second time. I came home sick from Walmart. When I breathe that air in and out, the oxygen I'm taking in is not enough for me. I found that out from a doctor. Be careful if you start getting sick. I cannot wear a mask for 1 or 2 hours. So that would be my rule. If the mask rule's in, I can't attend the meetings. But if mask rule's gone, I'll be glad to resume them. That's where I stand on it.
Thank you, Chairman Foster. Does anyone, before we do kind of a straw poll, does anyone else have any other comments? I don't want to in any way silence discussion on the matter prematurely.
Alderman Iverson?
Yes, sir.
Alderman Foster brings up a good point, but you need to remember that the mask rule specifically says people who are medically able to do it. If you're not medically able, you're not required to wear a mask. And that would be...
I realize that, but I didn't know that was the fact until I found out today about this malady.
But it's always been the rule with masks.
Oh, no, but I found out today that it affects me if I wear a mask for a long period of time. I was in Walmart for about 35 minutes. And I had trouble getting back to the car. The oxygen deprivation there's actually a name for it. See, if you keep breathing in your mask what you just exhaled, some people are affected by it.
Okay, and I personally hate the teleconferences, but I fully understand why people would want to do it. And what I think is bad is that, as some of the other aldermen have said, if you go to other Zoom meetings, and I've been on them too, they're so much better because you can see and the other people, and things are all connected. So I think what Alderman Foster said earlier about everyone having the same computer base, so that people like Alderman Williams would know, we'd alert his machine and he'd know to click on and everything would be better. I think that's something we really need to look into quickly. I know people will say it sounds like an expense, but it's going to make much better processing for these meetings, because unfortunately, it looks like we're going to be stuck with teleconferences for a while. So we should make them good. I mean, this is very difficult the way we do it, trying to get in to speak. And I know the mayor does as good as he can because he can't see us either. So it makes it difficult for him as well. So if we are going to do teleconferences, we better make sure we can do them in a much smoother fashion than what we have.
I agree.
No, he's absolutely right. Agno can put on every one of your screens while you're sleeping. When you open up your computer, as soon as you turn it on, it says emergency call the city council, or call it. You do that, and everybody gets it instantaneously. You can open your email, important news, or something from the city. You understand what I'm saying, don't you?
Yeah.
Because the new system is able to do that.
Yes, I don't believe, I'm not sure that we could have them by next city council meeting, but possibly by the second council meeting. Yes, Alderman Trulia.
I mean, a meeting like tonight where there's nothing controversial isn't bad, but like, I mean, I don't like this if there's going to be a bunch of audience comments. You know, if there's going to be a Logan closure, solar panels, or casinos, this would not work out well, I don't think. Luckily, we just haven't had many controversial, controversial debates over the last since this has started. But I mean, like tonight was fine, but I don't see the public or anybody happy with Logan's closing or solar panels and they can't come and be heard on this. That's my. I mean, I would prefer to do them in person, but I'm probably going to lose this. But that's my concerns anyway.
I understand what you're saying, Alderman Cholia, and I agree in many ways. Although I would say that you certainly can provide a written statement which will be read. I know it's not the same thing as an impassioned directly from a citizen, but I try to, even if I disagree, the few that we've had give the same, inflection and passion that I would if I held the position. So you're right, it's not ideal for having public feedback, certainly. Any further?
Even presentation. I mean, even like presentations when they come in. I mean, all three of those they gave. Carl, solar panels, and casino all gave presentations too, and we couldn't. I don't know how we would do that. I mean, maybe there's a way of doing that, but I don't really know how we would view the
on Zoom. You can do that. You can do that on Zoom. So if we were to be able to get quality laptops or tablets or something for folks, there is a way to do that on Zoom. I have been in a couple of meetings where people have offered presentations that weren't the host of the meeting, so it is possible.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, I think if we're going to do it, at bare minimum, we need to get, laptops and be able to see people, and like we were discussing earlier. So
okay.
That's all I have on that.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, Alderman. This is Alderman Williams, Mayor.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I had a question. With all the information and discussions going on and reopening the schools in Danville, and I'm wanting to know what the city has in mind, or are we participating in that discussion, and how do we feel about the time frame for that?
I mean, personally, I have talked to Dr. Geddes and a couple of board members and given them some of my personal suggestions. But as far as the city goes, the school board and the schools are their own separate governmental entities. So, I mean, I haven't ever had an official statement or assessment of anything that they have done, because it's not really our domain.
No, but
so there hasn't been one.
If they say we're going to open September the 15th and Danville Council here says we're not ready to open, is that a conflict as to who wins that argument, or how do we go about that?
Alderman Williams, we have no authority whatsoever over the schools. Those decisions are made entirely by the school board, the ISB, which is the Illinois State Board of Education, and then the Department of Education, the U.S. Department of Education. The city of Danville has no authority whatsoever to establish whether or not schools open or when they open.
Right now, it's August 31st, and at registration, they'll have the choice of whether they want to do homeschooling or actually go to school.
Thank you.
Any other comments about or any further discussion about whether or not we should meet via teleconference or in person?
Alderman O'Kane here.
Yes, Alderman O'Kane.
Okay, I've expressed my opinion to you that it'd be nice if we find someplace bigger where we could socially distance. I know the electronic problems of hearing everybody and stuff like that, but to me, that's something we need to look at as a possibility. And also, I like the personal meeting. I think people should wear the mask into the meeting. As soon as we're socially distanced from everybody, then take your mask off, and then when you leave, put your mask back on when you're getting close to people. That's the way I would like to see it. But I understand people are afraid of this, and I'll concede with the majority on it.
Alderman Pickering.
Yes, ma'am.
And I agree with the alderman also. I personally do like to meet in person. I understand the fears, but I wish we could work something out, like Alderman said, and maybe we could work something out to have the meeting in person. My opinion.
Yeah, she's right. Make up some guidelines and run them by us or something, because it's easy to say forever. You know what I mean? It's just silly. There's got to be.
This is Alderman Brown. At one time when we were having some repair work and redecorating in the chambers, we went over to the Palmer Arena. You think we could do that again?
That's a good suggestion, Alderman Brown. That's something that Alderman O'Kane and I discussed. The difficulty that we have there is the audio visual and being able to hear everyone and being able to appropriate record comments, because we have to record our meetings in order to be aired online. I mean, to be able to be put online so that people can review them later. And I know we had some major issues. The last time that we did that was when we reorganized in 2017. And if you go back and listen to those minutes, or try to listen to the meeting, it's nearly impossible to hear everyone because of the technology limitations that they have over there. It's not impossible, but I think that we can if we want to socially distance, if that's just the issue, we can be socially distant in council chambers. I think that we did an effective job of doing that when we had our meeting recently, unless, I don't know if there were any that felt uncomfortable, but we made sure everyone was where the CDC required distance apart from one another. So I do think that we can social distance in our own building, and then we have the proper technology to hear and to record and meet the rules of the law in terms of being able to provide your meeting record to the public.
Okay, I just suggested that the other thing, my thing is I would rather continue via teleconference because of the COVID-19. I just think it's a good idea, and like I said, for health reasons. I guess I'm health conscious or paranoid about it. And it's not just for me, but like I said, for others. But I'd just soon do it via teleconference because of we're taking chances when we meet, even if we're socially distant.
That is true. That is true. Any other comments before I have our deputy clerk poll everyone officially? Do our unofficial poll. All right, deputy clerk, would you, even if you've expressed, some people have expressed both opinions, so I'm going to have the deputy clerk call on everyone. Again, if you would, again, just as an instruction, this is an informal poll. If you would prefer to meet by a teleconference, then please state teleconference. If you would prefer to vote to meet in person, please state in person.
Alderman Williams.
In person at a different location.
Alderman Tolia,
In person.
Pickering,
In person?
Well,
O'Kane,
In person.
Iverson,
Boy, I'd rather do it in person, but I think we really probably need to do teleconferences. Let's make them better.
Streaming,
Teleconference.
4,
Chairman Poor? Chairman Poor, are you there?
Alderman Foster,
Well, that's tough. It depends on, I'd rather do them in person, but I think it's a good idea to do them like we've been doing them next week, because I'm concerned about the masks. You know, that's a tough thing to say. Come on, think about the meeting. Nobody in the audience had a mask on. Nobody on staff had a mask on, and one alderman didn't even have a mask on. You know, so I was worried about the air I was breathing in, quite frankly, not the air I was breathing out.
Okay, Alderman, Chairman, so you said in person then, teleconference for now, correct?
Yeah, until we resolve other issues.
Chairman Poor is back. I have my thing on mute.
Okay, go ahead, Chairman.
Teleconference.
Okay.
McMahon, Brown,
Teleconference.
Davis, Duncan,
Teleconference.
Bouchard,
Teleconference.
Stone,
Teleconference.
Williams. Oh, different
He
location.
said in person at a different location.
Okay, then we've got Tolia. Okay. 8 for teleconference.
8 by a vote of, by an unofficial poll of 8 in teleconferencing and 4 to meet in person. We will, and 2 absent, we will continue to meet by teleconference for the foreseeable future. In the meantime, we will again work on the technology as we outlined previously. Does anyone else have any other items of information for the good of the cause?
Chairman Poor.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, do you have about 5 minutes after the meeting? I'll give you a phone call.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other items of information for the good of the cause? Well, I don't know about you guys, but my mama always told me it wasn't good to be on the phone when it's storming, and we've had a long and hearty discussion. So let's be safe. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, there's no closed session? Oh.
There's no closed session. No, sir. All right, having satisfied all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Same sign. We are adjourned. Have a great night, everyone, and thank you for your feedback.
Good evening.
Good night.
Good evening.
Good night.